Good. How are you?
Good. Coach, a guy like Isaac, Ike, who's been a veteran around the league and has been a core special teamer in a lot of different places, even here before, with his role changing on defense, becoming a little bit more of a staple on special teams. Just what does it say about a veteran like that embracing role changes and things like that?
Yeah, I think it says a lot about him as a person, as a man, right? We were super excited when we signed him back here, knowing that his role may be on defense, it may be on special teams, it may be a combination of both. And, unfortunately, he got nicked up a little bit, so we missed a couple weeks. And then when he came back, that was, a really good thing for the special teams part of it, as you saw from the game there, the things he's able to do, not only go play gunner and make impactful plays, but the other part of it is, on kickoff coverage or on the pump block return where he's able to hold up their gunners. He does a really good job. And so he's an ultimate pro. He's a great person. So I'm really excited that we have him, and he's back playing special teams for us.
Are there, nobody named, but just are there examples of guys that you have to kind of get excited, help them get excited about of being a veteran and playing special teams, and is kind of the example, the opposite of that?
That's a good question. I don't know. In my time here, I don't think that there's ever been someone that I've had to pump up or get excited about playing. I mean, that's just kind of, the expectation of what it is. If, the guys that are playing a lot of snaps on defense may only play on one special team in a certain phase, right? Like Justin Reed's playing all those plays, and now he's on field goal block, or, Jonas Sanker has been playing on kickoff for us. So those guys that are playing a lot of offensive, defensive snaps, they may just have a limited role on special teams there. And then the guys that aren't playing that many offensive and defensive snaps, they need to have a role on special teams. Or in all honesty, they really do no good on game day when you bring 48 if he's not contributing to it. So I think guys understand that. I think, Kellen and the front office understands that. Like, we need to bring guys to the game that if they're not having a significant role in offense or defense, they're able to help us win games by playing on special teams.
When a new guy gets added, what is kind of the process of identifying what they can do and how you're going to use them?
When a new guy...
if they sign someone
today,
today, what's your process?
My first process is I go to the computer, and nowadays you can go on the PFF Ultimate, right? And I just type their name in, and I see what have they played in the NFL, preseason or regular season, right? And then if it's a guy who hasn't done much, I'll go back to my draft notes. We probably had evaluated him during the draft process, and if not, I'll go look at his college clips and try to evaluate what does he do well, and what areas of need, or who's not coming to the game now that the new player is up, and how can we make him be successful. I think I try to do my best with all of our players. I try to put them in positions on special teams to accentuate things that they do well. I very rarely try to put them in a situation where I know they don't do something well and ask them to do that. I don't think that's fair to the player or the team.
In the situations where you need to go back to college tape and actually watch clips, how often or how long do you need to watch before you know this guy can do this?
Honestly, it usually doesn't take very long when you're talking about coverage. You can either see that a guy can run and has spatial awareness and understands leverage to be able to get the ball carrier on the ground or out of bounds, or he really doesn't. And then that's where it becomes a little bit of an issue, and it becomes a challenge because it takes time to teach that. And when guys come in and they haven't been a part of the OTAs or the training camp where you do all those specific drills that you're trying to teach that are going to be applicable for the season, it becomes more challenging.
Do you use PFF Ultimate for other aspects of your job, or is it just to watch? How did you kind of get involved with that, or what made you embrace that rather?
I've started using it for the draft process. It just makes it so much easier when you're trying to evaluate the college players, and now it's become sophisticated enough for NFL players as well that I may go in there and I may go want to look at a couple certain things. It makes it easy. For example, you can do it by coach, by player. I can go in there and I can find all the trick plays that coordinator X, Y, or Z has run, and maybe that was 10 years ago, so that when we go through the gadgets and things like that we want to make sure that we're prepared for, it makes that part of it easier. So I do use it in a bunch of different areas.
Probably no easy answer to this, but how do you replace that plus player in a return game after trading sheet?
Yeah, look, it's a challenge, right? And like you said, a plus player, somebody that's been very good for us there. But we do knowing that things can happen, or knowing like last season where Sheed got hurt, you have other guys that are in your building that are repping that and practicing it, every day, whether it's off the jugs or during our punt periods and things like that. So, we got several guys on our roster, on our active roster, for example, guys who have done it before, Ugo or Cooksey. And then we have some guys, on the practice squad as well. Jaden Price, who's now here, or you take a look at Pettis, who's around as well, or Ronnie Bell is another guy that we signed to the practice squad. So I think we have some options there that it's going to be a great opportunity for somebody to go take advantage of.
What went into putting Rashid back on kickoff returns this past week?
There was a combination of things. One, obviously, what they had been doing with the knuckleballs and that sort of thing. Our priority was, let's get 2 guys back there that have excellent hands and can field the ball, and then be able to go get return yardage after that. There had been too many examples of guys misplaying, misjudging, not fielding the ball, and all of a sudden teams are starting inside their 10-yard line. So that was the biggest area of that part of it.
Were you surprised to see them kicking the ball into the end zone as much as they did? It's just because they came in with pretty good numbers from a coverage perspective.
Yeah, they did. Was I surprised? Honestly, no. I kind of, early in the week, I'd said to Kellen, I think after the first time they see that Sheed and Taysom are back there, I think they're going to say that, we'd rather just kick the ball in the end zone. That was my personal opinion of what I thought they'd do.
Justin said that he got past the kick on the one that he almost blocked. What did you see on that play?
He did. Look, here's what I think happened. I don't know for sure. I think Justin's been a guy throughout his career in that game that has such great get-off on there. And in his past, I think he's looked at the operation. So, like, sometimes, when you see the holders this or they tap the ground, he's done that in the past. And I think they thought he was doing that. So I think that they were trying to go on like a double hand tap. And I think the snapper snapped it on the first one. That's why you saw the kicker so slow to approach it. And, the normal get-off on a field goal is like 1.3, and he was like 1.7 something. So for Justin, his normal path is I got to go 3, drive, crank, and lay out. And he did that, and it was so slow, he was actually by the ball. All good? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.